Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching AMTV Alternative Media Television. Please like and share this video, get it out to your friends and family, and click the bell so you get our next video in your subscription feed. We are told that there will be a mass and great deception in the last days. The man and woman will be deceived by evil, by the beast, by the Antichrist. And we see this playing out in real events today. You can't even make this stuff up, where people are willfully, because they think it's cool and convenient, taking the mark of the beast in their right hands and or on their forehead, as is the case with Neuralink, the company that Elon Musk owns, which their intention, this is what they're working on now, is to take a microchip and install it into your cerebral cortex so you become the mark, so that you eternally separate yourself from God, the truth, the light, and salvation. And this, of course, folks, is all in the Holy Book. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the last days today. This is end times, and actions speak louder than words. Case in point, an article came out today where a gentleman, because he thinks it's cool, and I tweeted this on Twitter, make sure to follow me at AMTV Media, gets a live chip implanted in his right hand because he thinks it's convenient that it opens his door, and that he can buy and sell with the chip, known as the mark of the beast, very conveniently when he's at the checkout counter, let's say getting his groceries or buying an article of clothing or something like that. In Barcelona, at a trade fair held on Monday, a man volunteered to have a chip inserted under his skin live on stage. This happened after another man who had already undergone the procedure showed off how he could make a payment with the implanted chip from his bank just by using a smartphone. The man named Edgar Pons said that he underwent such a process just so he could open the door to his house, as the radio frequency identification, RFID chip, he had implanted contains credentials to opening the door. And this is a direct quote. "It's super for me, very useful, because I have an automatic house now," he said. And so this is just another example, and we get countless after countless example of this every single day, but it seems that the general population just misses it. Another example being an African American gentleman who was preaching the Word of God, was preaching the truth and the holy gospel. Just yesterday was arrested in the United Kingdom for disturbing the peace. He was handcuffed behind his back, escorted away to jail by local authorities.
I can be arrested if you want.
Don't put your hands in my face.
I can be arrested if you want.
Don't put your hands in my face.
What's your face?
You're putting your hands in my face.
You better even make your life to the Lord Jesus Christ.
What are you doing here?
I am preaching.
You're preaching. I'm going to require you to go away.
You can never.
Okay, then I will arrest you for a breach of peace. Plain and simple.
What breach of peace?
It's what you're doing at the moment. You're causing problems, you're disturbing people's days, and you're breaching their peace. Okay, so for that to be dealt with, if you won't go away voluntarily, we will have to arrest you.
I will not go away because I need to tell them the truth. Because Jesus is the only way, the truth. Jesus is the only way, the truth, and the life.
I appreciate
and
that.
Nobody,
but nobody wants to listen to that. They want you to go away.
Oh, you don't want to listen to that. You will listen when you are dead. You will listen when you are dead. You will listen. Take me. No. Don't take my Bible. Don't take my Bible.
Makes you wonder if he was Muslim, if the same thing would have happened to him. And we see this persecution of Christians in America. In fact, I think it's the most dangerous time in history to be a Christian in the United States. I talked about this yesterday, how the left is actually attempting to take down a cross that honors our World War I veterans in Maryland because it bothers them. You know, they're not bothered by abortion, but they're bothered by a friggin' cross. And it just goes to show you the intolerance that these people have when it comes to Christians It comes to those that preach the gospel and spread the holy word of Jesus Christ himself. Now look, you can't make this stuff up, folks. I'm not making it up that people are literally taking the mark of the beast as predicted and prophesied in the holy book itself in Revelation. None of this is a conspiracy theory. None of it is conjecture. It's actual reality. And we need to understand as human beings of this civilization that this will be sold as a giant deception. The Antichrist will sell himself as a solution, as a false prophet, as a holy man, and as a God. You know, I think it's interesting, for example, that quantum computing, they've got to put all these computers underneath the earth in the abyss of where Satan resides. Otherwise, the quantum computer chips aren't cool enough. That's kind of ironic. It's not very cool down there. But these computers and AI, artificial intelligence, which is rapidly taking over the globe in this push to globalism, one world government, a one world UN army, and a one world currency. All of this is based on the lie and the pretense that somehow this is the solution for humanity. There was another article yesterday that I read where a new AI deity is being worshipped, almost like a Buddha figure, because it's an all-knowing being that allegedly has all the answers and the salvation for humanity, even though that couldn't be further from the truth. The reason I'm making today's video is I'm just pointing out the cold, hard facts that this is in all of our faces, in the wide open. And they want you and may attempt to force you to take the mark of the beast. Look, you might not be able to buy or sell, get a bag of groceries, God forbid, even open your front door unless you have the mark in the very near future. They're going to outlaw things like driving a car because they're going to say it's too dangerous, and so that the Google AI needs to be in control of that, not you. The same people that ban, censor, and maybe in the not too distant future, outright outlaw the Holy Bible itself. Men and women all over the world are being persecuted, killed, and jailed, as was the case of this African American gentleman for preaching the holy word, simply vocalizing his belief system and vocalizing to the general public the holy gospel. You know, look, not all of you tuning in are Christians. Some of you come from different belief systems. Some of you might be atheists. Some of you might not even know. Maybe you're agnostic. But you need to understand, none of this is being made up. None of this is a figment of your imagination. It's literally what they're attempting to do. And I fear that AI, artificial intelligence, is the beast. I actually believe that it is Satan penetrating and permeating and programming the minds of its consumers, of this mass consumption of the sheep as they alter, change, and censor history and knowledge. And Americans and those around the world, maybe some of you tuning in, worship a God when looking up information. Alexa, what's this? Google, what's that? And then consume state-run mainstream media as if that's the truth, when in reality, it's a bunch of lies. It is the most dangerous time to be a Christian ever in the history of America and the history of the world. And we see this with a loss of community and a loss of borders and a loss of common culture, which is the intention to divide all of us. It is the actual end goal. And again, it is being sold as this promise, as this solution of convenience, when in reality, it is pure evil. It is the beast, and it is the Antichrist predicted in the book that I just held. In fact, brain implants are being promoted by the mainstream media and mainstream science as a good thing. This is something that you're going to want to do for your children. You're going to want to take a mark called the chip, and you're going to want to merge it with their brain. Now, we've all heard this from time to time. We've heard and we've read in the Bible, a lot of us, or you're familiar with what the biblical text says in Revelation, and I'm paraphrasing in my own words, but everyone here on earth, outside of the believers, will take the mark in their right hand and or in their forehead, on their forehead, or the chip, the RFID microchip being merged with their brain. And these are all very real, now mainstream technologies being promoted by technologists, by scientists, and also the brainwashing, status-run mainstream media. Case in point, this is from CBS Chicago. Northwestern neuroscientist is researching brain chips to make people super intelligent. So we've all heard that you're going to need this chip in order to buy or sell, that they're going to create a cashless society, which we already have. China's already cashless. The United States is well on the way, its own way to a cashless society. In fact, there's been some interesting reports out even in recent days and weeks. There's been an increase in circulation of $100 bills in circulation. There's even more $100 bills than there are $1 bills. Why is that? Why are there so many $100 bills being pushed into circulation? Well, obviously, a lot of people are waking up, and so they're stowing away cash, not to mention precious metals, gold, silver, raw assets, land, real estate, water rights, mineral rights, anything that actually has tangibility or value. Not that cash has tangibility and value, it doesn't. But it's also a sign that people, the smart people, are preparing for a crisis. And so it's going to be good to have some cash on hand because, of course, the intention is to ban cash completely. This is why the euro got rid of the $500 euro note, they said, because it promoted crime or criminal activity or something like that, which we know is bogus. All currency is used for crime, no matter if it's cash or digital. The difference is with digital, they can track your every move. They control the siphon, the on and off switch. So let's say you're a dissenting opinion or have a dissenting political belief that opposes the state. They simply just turn off the spigot so you can't buy or sell. The same reason they need to track you with the chip and why they're promoting the microchip being merged with your brain. Whether or not it's the research projects I'm reading to you right now, or it's Elon Musk's Neuralink company. What if you could make money or type something just by thinking about it? It sounds like science fiction, but it might be close to reality. In as little as 5 years, super smart people could be walking down the street, men and women who've paid to increase their intelligence. Northwestern University neuroscientist and business professor Dr. Moran Cerf made that prediction because he's working on a smart chip for the brain. Make it so that it has an internet connection and goes straight to Wikipedia or Google. And when I think this particular thought, it gives me the answer. Cerf is collaborating with Silicon Valley bigwigs. Facebook also has been working on building a brain-computer interface. We see Mark Zuckerberg with the brain monitors and the visual scanners. These are all top secret projects. And SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk is backing brain-computer interface called Neuralink, which I just mentioned. Quote, "Everyone is spending a lot of time right now trying to find ways to get things into the brain without drilling a hole in your skull," he said. "Can you eat something that will actually get to your brain? Can you eat things and parts that will assemble inside your head?" And then it goes on and on and on, says that this is absolutely mind-blowing, quite literally, because they want to drill into your freaking head, potentially. So let's talk about this for a minute and extrapolate upon what this really means. Not only will you not be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast, but more importantly, the way that they're going to sell this to you is a death by 1,000 cuts, and you need to be aware of it from a biblical and or even a secular scientific perspective. Let's say the average human being has an IQ of 100, and a genius human being has an IQ like Einstein of 140, although I'm not sure what his IQ was, but something in that ballpark. But let's say that a humanoid, a robot merged with the machine, somebody with a chip implanted in their brain, has a IQ of 200. They'll look at the Einsteins of the world like they're pet rocks, like they're ants, like they are insects that need to be swatted, as many of us do with houseflies inside our homes. So the way that they're going to sell this to you is that if you don't take the mark of the beast, not only can you not transact, can't buy groceries at the store, can't power electricity to your house, can't buy or sell, but in addition to that, you'll be a lower being peasant compared to the ruling elite superclass. But the reality here is they're only going to chip the elites with super intelligence. They're going to chip the rest of you with lower grade IQ, subservient intelligence. And it will be the very definition of hell as you know it, as predicted and prophesied in the Bible. And I think even the scientific community would agree with. And in my view, this is my opinion, this idea separates you eternally from the other dimensions, separates you from enlightenment, separates you from the truth in a permanent stasis here on earth. You know, the only commonality, the only constant that I see in our current reality is pain and suffering. I don't see higher self. I don't see self-actualization. I don't see higher learning and enlightenment. So why in God's green earth would you permanently want to cement your brain with a microchip in this environment? Why would you want to trap yourself within the third dimension itself? And you see, this is the evil spirit. This is the spiritual warfare. These are the demons. This is the Antichrist. And this is Satan selling you this great deception through the elites and through the New World Order system, which is selling this to the general public as a good thing. Hey, if you don't take the mark of the beast, you won't be able to compete. You'll be a slave, they say. And so they're selling all of this very, very overtly. I also wanted to talk about today just the mission in the missions going on right now when we look at what Elon Musk is working on with SpaceX, what we look at what Jeff Bezos is working on with Blue Origin, what we look at when we look at other billionaires like Richard Branson are working on with Virgin Galactic. All these multi-billionaires heavily connected with Central Intelligence, the Pentagon, the DOD, that actually take money. Amazon books hundreds of millions of dollars every single year, in some cases, from Central Intelligence. In fact, that's how they turned their first profit in the early stages of Amazon. Many suspect that Mark Zuckerberg is an asset and has always been an asset of the CIA to map all of the general population into this smart grid system, and then equip us with cell phones, which of course are tracking devices and are the early stages of the micro-implanted Mark of the Beast chip system. Get us used to it. In fact, Elon Musk will tell you and tell the general public that we're already cyborgs. So it's only natural that they're going to implant the chip into our brains. But more importantly, and I've talked about this before, what I find most striking is how the world's billionaires who are privy to top secret level intelligence that have all the money in the world focus all of their amazing efforts on one thing and one topic, and that's space. That's working directly with NASA, breakaway secret government structures, and the like. And all their time, I mean, think about this, guys. If they were so optimistic, why would they be using all of their resources to get off the planet? They obviously know something is coming. They know depopulation is ahead. They know, and they've known this for quite some time, that once we reached about 2,000 years AD after death, that it was only a matter of time that population had grown to a certain point that the world would essentially come to an end, that there would be not enough resources, and that we would become the disease. There would be food shortages, water shortages, and we also see this with increasing severity of weather patterns, whether or not this is the tornado I reported on yesterday, or it's the series of these types of weather geoengineered type events that have been increasing with higher frequency in recent months and years. So this whole idea that they're going to create this whole new society of civilization, whether they colonize Mars, as is the intention of Elon Musk, or in the case of Jeff Bezos, build these super city, almost seastead states in space that will encompass the Earth and basically just float around in the clouds where all the super elite will live, and remove all heavy industry from planet Earth and just kind of keep it this happy little planet, which I'm sure by then they've depopulated, just like the Georgia Guidestones have guided all of us and suggested. So the point I'm making with this video is, number one, all these topics that people said were conspiracy theory and it was never going to happen. And then just look at the aspect of how the Bible was able to predict taking the mark, the chip. I mean, how is that even possible unless it is truly divine in nature, which in my view and my belief is that it is, because I see this with my own eyes. I'm reading reports on a daily basis that this is what the elites are doing. This is what they're promoting. This is what they're urging. And they're doing it through mainstream science and the brainwashing tool that is the mainstream media. And if you don't take the mark, you won't be able to participate in society. You'll be a lower rung of the ladder and a lower class citizen soon on his way to extermination. And that is a death by 1,000 cuts and really a silent culling of the herd, so to speak, which we also see them implementing today. I'd like to hear your thoughts, comments, questions in the box below. I'll also include a link to this article that I just read. Just to understand and share this video, understand that this is an ongoing trend, that this is happening now. This is not a figment of our imaginations. It's not a conspiracy theory. They fully intend that you're going to take the mark either willfully or against your will. If you don't take it, they're going to cull you. All of this, of course, is prophesied in the Holy Bible, in actual Scripture. And they're going to sell it to you in a variety of ways, like we just covered in this story today. Many of you know what's coming. Those of you that are awake to the truth know what the intent is of global government, the New World Order, is they sell this new technology. And by the way, they've had this technology for a very long time, guys. They are so far advanced, further along than 5G or anything that NASA allegedly releases to the public. I mean, what this is, these are breakaway government structures. These are the real people in control of civilization today, and they're all in cahoots with one another. In the trajectory of our planet, this space and time is coming to an end. Now, they're going to sell it on the basis of lies, of global warming and all these kinds of things. In reality, there's something far more sinister, far more evil, and far more demonic at play here. Again, this is a spiritual battle and war against good, evil, the light versus darkness, and the truth. And it's important that we remind ourselves that the truth and the light will prevail. I'm Chris.